Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Friday Night Live. 2 minutes to showtime. John is still on his way back. I know he said he couldn't make it, but he is rushing home to join us. But today we also have a very special guest. I'll bring him on in a short bit. But since it's this week, everyone's been talking about nothing else but Tay, Taylor Swift. I thought this other Tay is going to do something for you guys as well. So I picked two of my favorite songs. This is pretty much the songs I know from Taylor Swift. And it sounds like they would go well together. Because the last time you saw me, it still burned in the back of your mind. You gave me roses and I left them there to die. So this is me swallowing my pride, standing in front of you, saying I'm sorry for the night. And I go back to December all the time. Turns out freedom ain't nothing but missing you, wishing I realized what I had when you were mine. I go back to December, turn around and make it alright. I go back to December all the time. And the saddest fear comes creeping in, that you never loved me or her or anyone or anything. Yeah, I knew you were trouble when you walked in. So shame on me now, flew me to places I've never been. Till you put me down, I knew you were trouble when you walked in. So shame on me now, flew me to places I've never been. Now I'm lying on the cold hard ground. Oh, oh, trouble, 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 trouble.
Is anyone here? What did you find?
You're listening to Supernatural Confessions. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Friday Night Live. I am your host, Eugene Tay, and today I have a very special guest with me. I know John says he's not coming in, but he's rushing back home right now to make it in time for Friday Night Live. But with me, I have a very special guest. He is a heritage guide, a researcher in Singapore's history. And because today's topic is all about Singapore's history from the Kampong era and all, I thought who better than to call Sarafian onto our show. Sarafian has also been a fan and a community member of Supernatural Confessions for a very long time. But before I bring him on, let's say a big thank you to our Patreons. Well, our patrons who have made this show possible. Thank you very much to Elaine Chua, Tunku Alsatian, Mko Grim, ZP Matt, Queen Lai, Lim Tek Chuan, Elvin Sensei, VL, Casey Chan, Alexi O, Janice Ang, Jesslyn N, Yong Kwan Yu, Hanjay, Jawin, Dato Easy, Starving Jack. Also not forgetting Wandering Spirits, we have Joel Go. He's been there for years with us, Supernatural Confessions. Deborah Cornfield, Chia King To, Linda Hayden, LEX, Jess Neo, Jerryfish, Bibit Teo, Te Hak Wee, 2 Cents, Alvin Lim, Kenny Polaris, Jayanti Saredzu, TTB, Jujube Jume, ZP, Davindes, Gary Fu, Isaac Lam, Martin, Felony, Don Sier. And also coming in at Restless Souls category, Suchieto, Grace Chai, Candy Chia, Ron K, Jack Ong, Nicholas Pua, Burke, Serene Tan, Rachel Y, Kelvin C, Lechmi, Julian Teo, and David. Thank you so much for being my Patreon. If you're interested in joining us as Patreon, please to go to patreon.com/supernaturalconfessions. And now, let us bring our guest for today. He is the man who calls himself by Tuah Bugis. And he's been pretty much all around Singapore doing a lot of things. He has his own YouTube channel as well, his own books as well. This guy's multi-talented. He is still working a day job and doing everything that he loves on the side. Ladies and gentlemen, Sarafian Salleh, aka Tuah Bugis. Yo, my friend, how you doing? Okay.
Thank you, Eugene. Thank you for having me in your Friday Night Live. Feels quite honored. Thank you.
So, Sarafan, are you listening to me on YouTube or are you listening to me on the stream?
The stream video.
Video? Okay. Can. I think there might be a bit of lag, but doesn't matter. I'll sort this out. Okay, sir, for those of us who do not know who you are, because you've been part of the community for a very long time. Can you tell us how you got to know us and a bit about yourself?
I entered the social media landscape sometime in the year 2008. I've got nothing much to share except for photographs because my hobby is photography until today. Okay, my day job, I'm a mechanical engineer. My night job is heritage and history. So when I did start doing photography, I normally like to capture old places, old structures, anything to do with history. Now I'll just capture it. And since I have all these photographs in hand, why not I just share it in social media? And when I share in social media, normally the photographs I have are graveyards, old buildings, old mosque. So that actually attracted some of those in my spectrum to share with them their stories. And surprisingly, they also have their own supernatural stories. So from there, I met people like your circle of friends who came to my site, and that's where I got to know Supernatural Confession. So from there, I got to Eugene.
I see.
So I wouldn't say it's that long, but it was something 2013, 14.
The very first time I think we spoke, you sent me a photograph of you and a few others standing in front of a kampong house, and there's a black figure at the back. Do you remember the photo? I cannot get that out of my mind.
Yes, I remember the photo.
Yeah.
I remember the photo. Yes, that photograph was taken by my friend using my camera. So I didn't know that figure actually appeared behind us until I share it on social media. Okay, I can't really go specific onto where the picture was taken, because he wants to remain secret. But when I saw the photograph, I realized that the house behind me wasn't actually renovated, or was still in construction phase. So when I did my calculation based on trigonometry ratio and all that stuff, that lady that appeared behind my picture was like 2.6 meter in height.
That's very tall.
That's very tall. That's very tall. So, I get some of my engineering friends to verify that image, and they say that thing is actually very, very tall for the ratio of where I stood, where the camera was, and where the lady appeared. And that actually shook me, shook me.
You know what I like about talking to you with regards to the paranormal? I think when we this is actually the first time we are doing live. We have talked about meeting up to do tell each other stories for a long time, and I think the most recent time we met up was on a tour, on one of the historical tour, heritage tour that you walked. One of the things that I love about you, Sarafian, is that when you research on all this paranormal or this history of the place, you tend to lean into the folklore side of things, which then spills over into my category. So there's this nice little area between history and the supernatural, and in that nice overlap part is where the folklore, the heritage, the potential beliefs of his past come together. And I think that's what we want you to share today, and I believe this discussion is going to lead towards the direction in the next possible 1 hour that you have with you here. Now, we want to say hello to some people who came earlier. I think the names are a bit pushed up already, but what I can see right now is Samuel Yuan, Isabella Rosta, who did not come for some time. She says, I'm finally back here. We have Camellia, and I know Wen is watching from UK as well, 2 o'clock where she is right now. Cat of Nine, Cat Bite, Nine Tails. Beat, Bite. Kin An, Gillian Fernandez, Alsatian, Adrian Chua, Mavis Day, Hungry Me, Paris, Kelvin C, Brando, and Romantics. That's a new name. Sounds like a 70s singer. Brando and the New Romantics. Frankie, That Can Be Arranged, Ben Lim, RSVP by Grace. Who else have I missed out? Once again, ladies and gentlemen, if I missed out, I do apologize. I can't seem to connect my chat function from my director studio on YouTube, so I have to actually read the comments on YouTube stream just like you guys. So if you want to get my attention, hit the $sign. It will pop up a big bright box and I can see you. Okay, once again, thank you very much for tuning in. You don't have to give me any money if you just want to join us. Another way you could support the show is to do a like and share. The more people watch, the more eyeballs come in, the more discussion we have. It's just going to be enriching for all of us. So once again, if you just join us, I have Sarafian, Salleh, aka Tuah Bugis, with me, writer, heritage researcher, guide, and also engineer. What else do you not do, my friend?
Everything.
Okay, so I'm going to pop some urban legends to you. I would like to I'd like to see what you have to say about this. When people talk about Kramat and people talk about Kampong days, it is very difficult to divorce that from stories of Pontianak, Pocong, Toyol, and all the other pantheons of Malay ghosts. Let's get this off the ground. What's your take on all these entities that are part of our urban culture?
Surprisingly, when we speak of Pontianak or Pocong or Polong, why is it always in Asia and not in Europe or in America? I mean, just to say it bluntly, why is it always in Asia? Why is it in Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia? Why not in Thailand or in Korea or China? Yeah, so it all boils back to the folklore that we have carried on from generations to generation. So it's partly the belief that we have. Okay, that's one thing I assume. The other one is just the knowledge or the vocabulary that has been ingrained in us to say that whenever we see a lady, we call it Pontianak. Okay, it could be a different thing, vampire or something else in other countries. So okay, that's just one part of it. Spiritually, it depends on who believes it. Okay, for me or for my father particularly, he don't believe in ghosts. Even if he saw one before, to him it's an imagination. So it's how we take it. So when I was growing up, from a little boy until I'm what I'm now. It's hard for me to believe in all these supernatural things. So whenever I bump into it now, I said it's just an imagination. It's just an imagination. Yeah. Imagination. But then again, when I was in the army, when I was with my army friends,
Okay.
with my men, they'll say, sir, how come when I'm with you, I can see ghosts? And that's not only from the Malays, but also from the Chinese and the Eurasians. So that's quite surprising. So for me, I thought it was just an imagination until I really saw it myself with my own eyes. Okay, I'm very very reserved and secretive in this because I don't want people to look at me in another direction.
Like,
Let supernatural be done. Let supernatural be taken care by Eugene. Let heritage be taken care by Sarafian. No, people. Yeah. I've got people who are trying to crack me open to share my experiences because I think my encounters with all these beings are not story related or it's not a drama that you usually hear. To me, it's just they're just passing clouds. They are just glances. They are just appearance. Okay, something like I'm talking to you right now, right? Suddenly I just see some apparition on my right. It's just like that.
So there's no full
it's
story.
like
There's no like an encounter. Like there's the beginning, middle, and end. It's just you see things because I know you from the times we spoken before many times. You have the third eye, so most times it's just a sighting, like from the corner of the eye, right? Is that true? Oh, okay. Yeah. True.
This third eye thingy.
Yeah,
This third eye thingy actually. I realized since I was a little boy. Since I was a little boy. So I kept asking my mom, but my mom told me it's just imagination. So I probably was nurtured in such a manner. I believe like that. But
true.
I do see things regularly. Very, very regularly. I mean, as I it doesn't only happen at night. It happens in the daytime as well.
Because I see some of your photos. You go to abandoned places. You go to old malls that no longer exist. You go to bash through forests. You go to cemetery, the Marang Cemetery. You did your research there. I mean, these are places that traditionally have things, what?
Yeah, the discoveries of all these places. Sometimes I was led by certain images. As I walked through, I probably felt certain image is there. Some beings are there, so it led me to looking for these lost items, even like lost palaces, those old sites.
Yeah,
certain things actually give me some leads. So that actually made me start to believe that this supernatural beings, they do exist, and they just try to resonate with your heart to look for answers.
Maybe you have a higher purpose. Maybe these things see a purpose in you. And quite frankly, the amount of research that you do, and I joke with you about this, I say if only you study so that well in O levels, right? The amount of hours you put into your research, the details you dig out, you put maps and overlay. And we always talk about this on our show as well. Like, how do we know that's our creativity? Or how do we know that's just our inner voice and not a higher being talking to us, right? So it could be, isn't it? Something's just guiding you along.
Yes, I believe. No, I'm okay. Just to share with you, I'm a God-fearing person. So
Yeah.
I believe in signs. I believe in signals. Even if I find it to be to some people it's a BS, a bullshit. But I just respect it, whether good or bad. I just respect it.
Yeah.
You respect it, and you just analyze what's that beacon that's flashing there for me to just go and look for it.
I love it because that's a very Asian thing, right?
Yes, it's very Asian. I mean, a very very Asian thing. Very Asian things. It's a respect. So it does help me in my research in a way.
Okay.
But I mean, just to share with those listeners, I don't really depend on these supernatural things to look for items, but I mean, give some signals. Give some signals. So, I mean, all of us have this feeling, right? You know, that your hair would stand behind your neck. You know, so
Yeah.
these are the things that actually guide you to
True.
look for something that's good or otherwise.
Right. I mean, depending on the religion that we follow and the faith, some people will say it's angels, it's higher power, it's God. They go by different, names. But as long as they guide us on the straight and narrow for the good of people, I think that's a kind of voice I don't mind listening to. Right. Now, the other thing that, since we are talking about Malay
Yes.
villages today, let's go to a place that many people have said it is haunted. But I don't think many people know the history of that place. Sarafian, if you could give us some insights into this, what is it about Sembawang and Wak Hassan that makes it so notorious in our Singaporean horror landscape?
Sembawang. Now, Sembawang. Yeah, there are people who are much more, I mean, to have better authority in speaking of Sembawang area. I just mentioned a few names like Mr. Kamal, Sophia, and a few others, maybe Jerome. Okay, I mean, they're the ones who actually did lots of research on the area. Okay, for me, I know Sembawang through my relatives, my in-law who used to live near there. Then another thing is that when I finished my army, I worked in the shipyard. That was in 1993. So when I worked in the shipyard, I was a warranty engineer and I moved around Singapore's marine landscape to warranty ships. So I went to Sembawang shipyard. I left Keppel shipyard in 1993. I joined Sembawang shipyard in 1995, Sembawang Bethlehem, and I was stationed there. So when I was stationed there, I realized that the plot at Sembawang end was once a graveyard, and there was a kramat there once upon a time. So I normally during lunchtime I would just go there and lepak in my car. Then I met other people who were there, contractors, and they were once residents of Sembawang. So they told me about Sembawang area. It was actually the end of, to them it's like the end of Singapore. No? Those who live there, they don't see any other coastlines. And this place was once a place where they actually throw all those ashes or those prayers to the sea. Then what surprised me was, you have the beach on one end, you have the shipyard on the other end. Then you have people doing all this spiritual business on at this particular area. So that according to them make the place haunted. Then so that's all I know. And of course, when I was in the army, I actually went to this place called the Terror Camp in Sembawang.
Terror camp.
So they call it a terror camp.
Okay.
Terror camp because I think that has got to do with a ship that was there, or they just call it terror. I can't really recall what is it. So I stayed there for a while, and that place was quite eerie. Maybe it's a name that gave you that placebo effect that make it sound.
When you call a place terror camp, surely it will affect our psyche. Before I even go there, I'll be scared.
Psychologically, it affects me already. Now that before I knew that was called terror camp, I actually went to the bunk with my friend. I can't remember his name. I think it's Eric. We opened up the door and we had a gush of wind hitting us our face. And so that actually gave me a rude surprise into why the place was called. Why is it so scary? And eventually I know it was called terror camp. So that was one of the first few experiences I had after I matured, and after I knew that I had this third eye. Then that's why I got to know Sembawang. So that's all I know about Sembawang. But that place, to me, Sembawang is not really the haunted to me. I don't find that it's very haunted. In fact, haunted places, I don't find so. I think the whole of Singapore is haunted, or the whole of Singapore is quite haunted.
That is true, right? Like, I mean, if you talk about graveyards and all that, Singapore almost everywhere is graveyard. Look at Bishan, right, and all the areas. But what's the other place? The Malay cemetery. Now that they built BTO there. Apa tu? Bidadari. No matter where we think it's haunted or not, look at the prices of these places. sky high. People don't really
Sky
care.
high, yeah. Yes, I mean, if some of our friends here and yourself come across my video, estates that were once a cemetery,
Ah.
Singapore is about 250, 270 cemeteries once upon a time. Yeah. And
Wow.
I did share with people who followed my heritage walk
Mm.
when should there during the time of Raffles, when Raffles came to Singapore in the 1819,
Yeah.
should everyone still be alive? Huh? That means
Uh,
those who they didn't die, they are
ah.
still alive until
Ah.
from the time Raffles came until today.
Ah.
Our Singapore population will be 548 million people. It's that much.
Wow.
And just imagine if I were to put these people on the ground, you lay it across Singapore's 730 square kilometers, almost three-quarters of our island is covered by these bodies. So I can conclude that Singapore is the most cemeteries in the world.
And perhaps that's why Singapore is also the most haunted place in the world.
Precisely.
The
And
highest
so,
highest haunting per capita. That's what I always
yeah.
say. Mm.
But you see, the haunting is one thing. Haunting is one thing. Every dead body has a soul that some may wonder that makes it haunted. But then again, also, it has got to do with the mind. Sometimes if you feel it's haunted, it's haunted. If it's not, it's not. But like me, I say it's not haunted, but yet I'm still visited by some of these people, these beings, to come and just show their face that no, hey, I'm here. No?
Yeah.
So okay, why I have this? Why I always encounter such issues because of the nature of my work. I'm a mechanical engineer. I do inspection for buildings during maintenance. No?
Yeah.
So I go to void spaces. I go to liminal spaces where people don't really visit.
Ah.
So when I do my measurements, when I do my survey inspection, that's where I actually bump into creatures. And these creatures are not just people always have this visualization of creature being Pontianak or a lady. Spirits could appear in the form of table and chairs and car.
Huh?
It could appear in forms of six-legged being or eight-legged being. It's like that. So it's not like what you always see in movies where it comes like Pontianak, long hair or with long teeth. Sometimes it can just be humans. It can be another fellow friend who has passed away or who is just alive and just beside you. So those are the encounters that I've experienced in places. I've seen images of myself appearing in like in Daima. You remember Daimaru? This
Yeah.
people Daimaru.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Wait. So,
because I
just let people know where Daimaru is. If you are
okay,
listening
Daimaru
in
is
and you are very young and you don't remember Daimaru, the place is at where Fort Canning MRT is two,
yes,
two,
exactly.
two buildings down, right? Around there, Daimaru.
So when I did that was actually the first scary one I had after so long.
Ah.
That was in 1997. I was commissioned to do the vibration survey of the city tunnel fence. So I parked my car at Daimaru. Then I took the cherry picker and all the trailers to check the fence. So after my job ended at about 3 a.m., I went back to my car. So I was walking with my car. There is a fisheye mirror at the car park. So as I was walking, I saw my car on the other end of the corner. Then at the corner of the car, there's another person coming up. And that person looks like me. I freaked out at them.
Wow.
Because I was very scared. That's me, and he's actually looking at me. That's one of the incidents I had.
What did you do?
No, I just like ha! I just shouted, and again that's. Well, I look at where he came. Then I look at the mirror. He's gone. So these are some of the encounters I had. Then these are just brief encounters. Like I chat with my friend
Yeah.
while working when I was in. I just finished my O level, waiting to enter poly.
Yeah.
I finished my poly, and I want to enter army. That was in 1990. So I was working in a bank called DBS Bank, just as a clerk. This share forms and all that stuff. So while waiting for army, I worked part time there. So after we finished our work, I went to 25th floor DBS building.
Ah.
And we wash our face, everything. That was at night. That was about 10 o'clock after we distribute all the share forms. So 10 p.m. we went up to the office, just wash up before going home. And after I went to the toilet, I went out to the office. There was this glass window, right?
Oh.
Outside it's already at night, so outside it's dark. So the glass window provide a reflection of me. So I take out my comb my hair.
Okay.
So I comb my hair. Then after I keep the comb back in my pocket, the guy is still combing the hair.
Oh my god! That's horror movie material.
So it's just like that.
Oh
I mean, these
Lord.
are the brief encounters I had. Nothing spectacular or colorful. It's just like that.
How is that not? You know what? That Sarafian, that is that's that's like a one-line horror horror
I can
story.
share with you lots of this kind of encounters I have.
I would love that. Yeah. Sarafian, thank you so much. I don't want to interrupt you just yet, but I want to bring someone in because these are these are supernatural gold that he must listen, and he got stuff to say. Ladies and gentlemen, and Sarafian, introducing my buddy, my co-host. We have Jonathan Lim in the house.
Hey. I'm just here combing my hair. Combing my hair.
I can see.
Okay.
Oh man, I love the story, Sarafian. Oh my god.
I had a few of that sort of experiences.
Oh.
Wow. So I wonder how many I missed, man, the last half hour.
You missed pretty good stuff, man.
You missed nothing.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, once again, welcome to Friday Night Live. Today's topic is about Kampong, Malay ghost stories, the memories that we have, the history, the law. And today we have three of us. You can see three, I would say, the size, the head is the size, small, medium, large.
It's two beard, one no beard. So
that's right. So I'm Eugene Tay on the left side. The right side is Jonathan, and in the middle is Sarafian Salleh, also known as Tuah Bugis. And today we have got Sarafian to share with us some stories. John, what you missed out is he is a heritage researcher.
Nice.
Lot of engineer by profession, so he combines that discipline into really bringing out the details of the places that he go and research. Now the thing is, the places that he go are like underground lah, abandoned lah, and then he sees things. But at the same time, because of his upbringing, his dad, his dad will say, your imagination. So there's this man who's an engineer who's also doing a lot of guiding work, and a man who can see ghosts but doesn't want to believe in ghosts. He's that in between.
Nice. You are the material for a Netflix show. Okay. Wow. I mean, I'm very curious, right? How you sort of harmonize these different sides of you. I don't know if you've talked about it already, but I'm very fascinated to find out. Do you ever find yourself in conflict? Between these two sides, and what do you do? What do you tell yourself?
Okay, it's all about passion. You want to look for things. Life is so short, and I want to do lots of things. So I'm never a master of none. But I'm trying to jack of all trade and enjoy everything. Okay, even my work as an engineer, I'm a vibration specialist. So vibration specialist.
Vibration specialist. Ooh.
Oh yes.
Can you teach us all how to be vibration specialists?
So I'm very passionate with my work as well, because I like to do investigation studies. I'm a very logical person. When people say they dream of something or something, to me I want to have some evidence why you see that, why is it like that.
Nice.
So the word resonant, the word vibration has got to do with resonance. So resonance has got to do with frequency. So frequency has got to do with the connection between whatever you can see and whatever you can't see.
Right.
So you mean, say like me, when I do noise survey, I do vibration survey for buildings. I do pick up stuff. I do pick up things, but I don't glorify it because it's just part of my profession. So I do pick up ultrasonic noises which is beyond the mainstream frequency which I'm looking for.
So it's like high level EMF stuff.
Yeah.
No, high level EVP. High level EVPs, yeah. Right.
So I do have instances of, but I'm a logical person, and I want to see logic. So like some of the spirits that I've seen before, probably just one or two that's been captured on the camera, and one of them actually Eugene saw it. The lady appeared behind me. So this is just one of the very few which I've experienced. There are some cases where I was having my infrared camera inspecting building cracks and electrical conduits. Using my infrared camera, I did see some apparition and some half body flying around. I capture it, but it didn't appear in my data.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
but I have people who witnessed it and they saw what I've seen. He just went stone cold and pale. He left. You know what's that place? That place is the old National Gallery, Singapore.
Inside.
Inside. Before they decommission that place for refurbishment and they want to change it to National Gallery, I was one of the engineers who worked together with Johnson Control to scan the building.
Wow.
So when I was doing scanning, I saw this stuff. So I tried to record it.
I feel like we're getting exclusive content here.
Okay,
I love it.
From Kampong. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm diverting.
No, it's great.
No. All roads lead back to Kampong. Don't worry.
So these are things I saw. So sometimes when I was in the army, my men told me, "Sir, maybe you were the one who attract them to come and appear in front of you. Not them. Not you see them, because this happened a few times.
So
then,
does the third eye run in your family?
I don't know. I don't consider myself third eye, but then I see things. I mean,
the sensitivity, right?
Yes, I just see things moving around my eyes. So
Sarafian, people on our community members asking you to send some photos or videos to me when you get the chance, so I can show it to them. Do you have any?
Like I say, I don't have any. I don't really capture these things. That's why I don't wish to share, because these are the things I saw and it might just be a
imagination.
That's why I just kept myself. I think if you saw my Facebook video, I was doing my ultra marathon 100 miles run. Then I saw a guy at the bus stop with a joystick praying at this Anchorage condominium, I think. So these are the things I saw.
Opposite IKEA there.
Not the Anchorage. Archipelago condominium.
That's a Bedok Reservoir.
Bedok Reservoir, yeah. I saw it there.
Okay.
So I didn't capture it on my phone because it's just a brief instant. It appeared and it just disappeared. So I sketch it and I share it on Facebook. So these are the things I experienced.
Do you know the story of Bedok Reservoir, Archipelago, the hill? Because it was once a Malay kampong there.
Yeah, it was once a Malay kampong, and I did research after I saw that thing. They said there was an old man who was knocked down by a lorry at that particular spot that I saw. Bedok Reservoir was once a hill. So Bedok Reservoir, they actually took the sand. They took the sand for construction and reclamation, and that became an artificial reservoir. So I think in one of the instance, sand truck actually knocked down an old man around the area. So I only did this research after I saw this image, on the bus stop where this guy put oranges and joystick and praying at the bus stop. I saw it. Then as I come closer, it just disappeared. That was about 4 a.m. in the morning. So when I did research, they said that there was a guy who got knocked down there.
I see. Actually, this raises a very interesting question, right? That I want to ask you, since you are an expert at surveying things, right? Let's say a hill, right? A hill like Bedok Reservoir used to be, right? Is cursed or haunted or has some supernatural power or right, something in it, and then we take it to fill in something else, right? Or we take it to reclaim something, right? What happens to that curse? Does it stay in the place where the hill used to be, or does it follow the sand and go to the new place at East Coast Park? What do you think?
Two ways. That I believe the spirit is still there
in the original place.
Original place. No, they say Kundalini or chakra of the earth, the nodal points. The nodal points will never shift, despite of you doing some structures or change it. It's always there.
So the material change does not affect it.
Does not affect it. If you and they say when you look at Kundalini or the nodal points of the earth, normally you have lots of pigeons or birds flying around there. So even if after you alter the place, somewhere in Toa Payoh, the birds are still coming to that place because of their nodal points. And these nodal points actually, they say, it's a food for the spirit. Okay, this is something very, very spiritual, which I don't have any proof of. But then they say that, this is a food for spirit. They feel very calm there, and that's where they stay. So I mean, altering it will always be there. That's the first case.
Right. Okay. Okay.
I got so many questions I want to ask you. But I don't think it's enough for one episode. But I'm probably going to ask this because it's like bugging me. Since you're an engineer and you've done a lot of digging work and you talked about the Kundalini, I was wondering what's your take on Changi, especially Hendon Hill. What's below? Some people say it's a secret government test site. Is that like the a special area that the ley
52.
lines cross? Yeah, Area 52. What's your take on that?
Hendon Camp.
Below
Hendon Hill, lah, right? You're talking about Hendon
below
Hill.
Old Changi Hospital, the hill.
Why you ask me that?
It sounds like you might know something or two.
Eugene firmly believes that there is some sort of nexus of ley lines or something about that hill, lah. Multiple nodal points are there.
Oh, okay.
What do you think?
Yeah. No, okay. Hendon Camp. Okay, the only time I was in Hendon Camp was when I was doing my airborne. Then I did my training airborne. I went for the commando training, but I just airborne.
And did you sense anything in the area?
No, the area you enter there, all this kind of tekan. So, okay. Tunnel works. As far as I know, tunnel works do exist, physically exist. I'm not so sure about this nodal points or Kundalini or some spiritual lines. But that place was once a cemetery, before they have all these radars. They have this Kampong Batu Putih, where they have this rock outcrop, right? Batu Putih. So that was actually a kampong, the Malay kampong with some Chinese kampong.
Before the army camp? Before the British built an army camp?
Before the British came in, it was actually a kampong. It was actually a kampong.
Okay.
Kampong Batu Putih, that's one side. Then on the left of it is Kampong Loyang. Loyang in Malay means yellow. I think yellow, Loyang. That one's also kampong. And there was a kramat. There is a kramat until now. Kampong Kramat Loyang, which I actually brought some people there last year. So there was a kramat there. In fact, all the coastal lines in Singapore, they are kramats. They're kramats and they were graves.
Is there a particular reason why they are looking for all these coastal locations? Is there some kind of special geography that they're trying to maintain?
Malay, the indigenous people or the Malay people, they normally depend on the sea as their livestock. They do fishing. They were mostly fishermen. Yeah. And some of them are petty small time traders. So they prefer the coastline. Unlike the Chinese, so they do trading, but they also like to do plantation. So they're more towards the inland.
So they like it to be close to where their culture is based, lah.
Yes, tanah air.
Yes. Okay, yeah, makes sense.
So they ended up normally at the coastline. Like I did some studies of the coastline in Singapore. From Tanjung Gul or Tuah until Changi, we had like almost 50 Malay grave plots along the coastline before Singapore was developed.
John, Sarafian, we need to have a makan meet up, okay? We will talk for 3-4 hours, I'm very sure. But I know Ramadan is coming up. You're going to be fasting in 2 days' time. So
all the ghosts are locked.
So we can talk about them, you see. Safely.
So I want to carry on this conversation again, but we have a few confessions to go tonight before our featured confession.
Okay.
Sarafian, why don't you stay with us for one confession? Which should I narrate or John narrate?
Huh?
This one is
Sarafian.
Sarafian,
you want to narrate?
He don't have the link to the file.
Okay, never mind.
I read.
Okay. Eugene read lah.
I read.
But before we go there, thank you to Wend in London, who I assume is in London, who says Friday with a double trouble and a £10 donation.
Yeah.
£10
and also
thank you very much, Friday.
We had Samuel Yuan as well and Raven also above. Yes, thank you for your blessings and thank you for joining us.
Someone has a question though, important question. Bella Licious is asking, Karamats means graves? You want to give a little simple breakdown for those who are not familiar with the word Karamat?
Okay, what I understand is Karamat comes from a Persian word called Karamah. And Karamah means assembly area. Or a monument. So to me, Karamah is not a grave actually, but it's just a monument.
Okay.
Example like Kramat Iskandar Shah in Fort Canning. So that's actually a monument. It's a box.
Yes.
It tells people that this was once a place where the 5 kings lived. Okay, Sanggil Utama, Wiyapikrama, Maharaja, then the fourth one, I can't remember the name, and Paramiswara.
Yes.
Now the name Iskandar Shah on that box is actually wrong. Okay, it should be like Sanggil Utama, because Sanggil Utama was one from Singapore.
Yes.
And Iskandar Shah's grave today is actually in Tanjung Tuan in Port Dickson, which I went there about 10 years ago. So back to your question, what is Kramat or Kramat? Kramat is just a monument or a place for a place of assembly. That's Kramat.
Okay. So not necessarily to do with burial or anything.
Not necessarily a burial. It's just a place, a memorial for us to know that there were community or descendants of people here before.
So like Diao Chan is asking, is like, for example, the war memorial in Singapore, would you consider that sort of a keramat?
Okay, the war memorial is the cenotaph. Okay, if you ask me blankly, the cenotaph is a keramat.
Is a keramat.
Okay, but I hope the Malay guys don't come up to me.
Loosely speaking.
If you ask me, okay, that's like a keramat. Okay, it reminds us that the people the soldiers who served in World War I, World War II, that's a memorial. Okay, so I can say keramat.
Right. So, but does the keramat have to be sacred? Can it be like just like a mall? Since a mall is a gathering place, right? Must it have some sort of sacred significance before it qualifies?
Not necessary.
Okay.
For me, if you ask me, it's not necessary. It's just a memorial. Keramat.
Okay.
You see, when the keramat is being venerated as a sacred place, sometimes it will be taken by the government. They say this is un-Islamic for the Muslim community. This is un-Islamic.
Yes.
They'll destroy.
Yeah, I see. Okay. We're learning a lot. Okay, makes sense.
I'm about to give Sarafian honorary MSA membership for the in-depth knowledge that he possesses.
We create one stat bot for him, lah.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's okay.
Yeah, we are our community have created a special department called the Ministry of Supernatural Affairs.
Yeah, so maybe your office is for keramats and vibrations.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Stay tuned, everybody. We will have confessions coming up. But before we move to confessions, just a short message from us. Thank you for listening to the Supernatural Confessions podcast. If you are enjoying the show and would like to support our efforts, you can help by giving us a 5-star review or by becoming a patron by signing up for a monthly membership fee that starts from as low as $5. Check out the perks at patreon.com/supernaturalconfessions. That's patreon.com/supernaturalconfessions. Or if you feel like showing a simple gesture of appreciation, you can buy us a cup of coffee or two at buymeacoffee.com/superconfess. And now, let's get back to the show. Alright, confessions time. This one is called Pontianak Battleground at Kampong Api-Api. Last time I stayed in... Okay, this is confession by Ahmad. Last time I stayed in Kampong Api-Api, we had to move out around 1980s when the government took back the land. The kampong is right beside Sungai Api-Api, where you have heard many reports of Pontianak sightings and whatnot. I used to stay there. I can tell you, even from last time, already kotor, dirty. When we were kids in the kampong era, one of the things we loved to do is play the basket game. We would take 2 sticks and tie them into a cross, put a shirt and a hat on it, so it looks like a scarecrow, and tie a basket to the base of it. Inside the basket, we will put a notepad and a pen. 2 people need to carry the basket and dance around calling for the spirits to come and talk to us. The spirits cannot talk, but they can write the answers down in the notepad. We would ask how they died, why they died, and this game was really common among all the kampong kids. We played this all the time. We weren't scared, As children, these are like games to us. Today, children play handphone, play PS5, right? Last time we played the basket game. In my kampong, many people keep supernatural entities as pets. Penanggal, palace, all very common. You want to ask, right? Where this penanggal come from, the flying heads? Actually, I tell you. Other kampongs, probably the Loyang Kampong or the Changi side, when the villagers find their witch and they destroy her body, the head fly around looking for a new home. What do they do with these heads? The villagers in Kampong Api-Api will collect them like pets, and then they send it out to their enemies to disturb them. At night, you look up and see, you can see heads fly left and right. Same with the palace. Families will use it to spy on one another. Last time, people kept them like pets, really. And then, after they pass on, they pass to the younger generation to keep. But this younger generation, when they leave the kampong, where got space to keep all this? So they don't bring this along with them. And where do they release it? To the area around the kampong. Where's that? Kampong Api-Api, which is Sungai Api-Api, the Gallop Stable, and the mangrove area in Pasir Ris. And it's not just the penanggal that is famous there. Pontianak also famous here. You know where that one come from? That one I tell you, that one come from Indonesia. The Indonesians would sail and dock here. Besides trade, they will also come to exchange knowledge. We call it ilmu. As children, we would see them have friendly challenges amongst the locals and the Indonesians. The aim is to summon the strongest Pontianak they can get to fight each other's Pontianak. My kampong is also famous for one bomo, Ahmad Misai, a very good man with a thick moustache. Last time when he was alive, all these hantu very well behaved. Once he passed on, I guess no one to keep this hantu in check.
Wow. Okay, lots of stuff. Wow. Okay, I'm amazed because it's the first time I'm hearing about competing Pontianaks.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like Pontilympics. Okay. And have you ever heard of that kind of thing, Sarafian? And can you tell us anything more about this type, or are there other supernatural entities also that can be that were used in these kinds of games, right? Have you heard of it?
Yeah, I've heard of it from my old folks, my late grandmother, but most of them have passed on, and also my uncle's side. Now, this to me, I always believe that this is just to put fear on kids like us. That's one thing. I'm so sorry, but that's what I feel. But I also have another part of me that believe in this thing that happened before and may still happen today. We don't know. Despite of us modernizing into a very modern nation right now, I believe some of these little cultures or beliefs still exist. And I think to me it's rather very un-Islamic. It's not good.
Because back then, I think all these beliefs came before Islam even arrived to our part of the world, right? When they were still practicing all this.
Yeah. This all ancient art, where people believe in magic, and all boils back to resonance and manifestation of the mind. If this thing that happens, if you want that thing to happen, you can just mention his name a few times, and if it resonates with the air around you and the person, he'll get it.
That's why you cannot say the P word, right? The name out loud.
Because you don't want to start that vibration.
No, I don't know.
Because otherwise they may pick up on it, right? They may pick up on it. Oh.
But then again, I do pay respect, because Pontianaks or Polong or Pochong, I do have this feeling, or probably some sightings when I was in my training in the army, in the live firing area or in Tuah Tekong. I do have such inkling in my mind that this thing actually exists. But I've not really. It's hard to say, hard to imagine, hard to share with you.
Yeah. But from the Malay stories, right? Are these like the games that they play when you did your research about all the kampong games? Are these something that has happened very commonly last time?
I've heard of them playing playing this basket and this 2-6, but I've not witnessed them practicing. But yes, they do practice all this stuff to kundang. Kundang means to invite the spirit to fill up this space and do their operation. So that's what I've heard. But I've never seen one.
I think our era, like our 3 eras, even though we are Gen Xers, we are already living in HDB. When I checked with my dad, because I was doing this today's topic, right, and he was in Teluk Kurau Kampong, and he told me, yeah, people play magic all the time. So he also had this whole blasé thing, and like he said the tuju you see at night, you go out, you see the thing
Yes, I've seen. Yeah, I've seen this thing tuju thing before, and especially at night when you're on the ground. Me with my men, we can see these things flying. Like in the Changi, before they have this terminal 4. We had our harboring base there for the battalion, and I saw it with my men. We saw this thing flying. So it's very common.
Okay,
so
now for those who don't know, sorry, just to interrupt for what people may not know what's a tuju. So tuju is a flying egg that you would send to your enemy to sort of curse them. Yeah,
it's my favorite. It's my favorite way of cursing people. I send you an egg. But I mean, wow. So okay, for example, Teo Chan is reminding us, right, that there's a whole hierarchy, for example, right, of Pontianak, in the law, right, that there are different colors, right, the green one, the red one, and all that, And earlier, everyone's talking about like Pokemon, Pontianak, and all that, right? And it's very interesting because if you remember, some of you who were with us last season, right? Last season was one of the first times we heard a confession about Pontianak in a gang. Remember? It was at Bukit Batok, right? No, Bukit Gombak. It was a Bukit Gombak story. They were filming something there, and then they encountered like this Destiny's Child, this trio of Pontianak, and then now we are learning about them as some sort of Pokemon fighting kind of situation, right? And I'm starting to wonder whether our modern conception of the Malay supernatural, right, is very affected by the Western notion of ghosts, which are very isolated things. It's one ghost per haunted castle, one ghost per house, one ghost per thing. And actually, the supernatural world is actually more about tribes and species. And it's a lot more like Lord of the Rings than it is a gothic horror story. That Pontianak is one camp and then the other side is, or like Underworld, right? It's like werewolves versus, because it's not one Pontianak. Obviously, she's got friends, and there are games and then you have all these tribes of Bunyan and you have tribes, then you have multiple penanggal being sent out, It's like, wow, that's a scale of haunting that we have in our modern mind are not able to conceptualize, because we think of them as one. You see one, you die. End of story. If you see one whole army of penanggal, voila, we're not ready for that, man. What do you think? Has it shrunk? Has the Malay supernatural world gotten smaller as we got more and more modern?
You see, when it comes to this kind of story, like Lord of the Rings kind of a battle, this is what led me to question myself, question them, especially them. What led them to have such strategic planning, or I would say probably imagination. Imagination. So that made me feel very skeptical. I don't really buy that. I don't really buy that. No, yeah. Back to spirituality and all this kind of belief. Like for me, when I'm doing my heritage works, right, I will also look for evidence of those people with the lineage of the kings or sultans, or and most of those who came to me, they want me to put their name in some of my research, because they said I'm the sultan of so and so. And so I tell them, I ask them. Okay, I'm just going out a bit, but I'm giving you the idea of how I come to believe and not believe ghosts.
Yes.
So they tell me, oh, Sarafian, because I dreamt that night that I was actually a sultan of Langkasuka, a sultan of. And so I said, okay. Do you have any genealogy or some lineage to prove that you are a bloodline? He said, no, I don't think so. But I practice this chanting, and I realized I belong to this group. And this particular spirit Sobonian came to me and said that they give me a yellow crest with a baju kurung and stuff. So this actually make me I mean, alarm me. I said, this guy, you don't really buy his idea. So I come from that. I come from that perspective.
I want to, I
Right,
want
right.
to, I want to change my name already. I don't want to be the Prince of Paranormal. I want to be the Sultan of Supernatural. Because I had a dream too.
You Sultan of Pedra Branca. Pedra Branca. Okay.
So it all goes. So it goes back to
Hmm.
our story today about the battle of the Pontianaks.
Yeah.
So that I'll ask them, where does it originate? Where does it originate? And why do you feel like that? So
Yeah.
when you say it's dream, I say okay lah, maybe that's your story, But to me, if I have this Pontianak with me, or I have this polo with me, I ask them, hey, help me in my business. I want to grow, I want to be a millionaire. I don't want to fight with other people.
That's true.
The biggest battle is actually yourself. You want to be self-improvement
Yeah.
rather than you hit this fella, being petty for no reason.
Yeah.
I hope they don't come after me tonight.
You see, 1 fly across.
Wow. There's an egg with your name on it. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, if you have all these supernatural powers, why not use it to good use? Why must you get your peers or hurt people? Why not you just do it for
That's
yourself,
true.
self-improvement?
And that is a
I
perfect
don't
message
buy
for
it.
you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't buy this sort of idea of people
Right.
having sort of things and fight with people. I mean, the life is so short. Make full use of it and have self-improvement rather than fighting with people.
So, guys, listen up, man. If you got a Pontianak in your basement or if you have magic spell, don't go and curse people. Go and bless yourself and raise you up. So,
Yes.
do good.
Make the
Yeah, but then
Pontianak
again,
your financial advisor. Okay.
But don't quote me, I don't encourage people to have Pontianaks or problems. It's unethical, Believe in the God,
Yes.
That's important.
Very good. Sarafian, thank you so much for joining us today. I want to chill you out, go makan when you're free.
Yes, please.
Thanks.
Any last words for our community before you head off?
Advice.
Okay, so I just share with everyone, do whenever you have something that comes across you, spiritually or physically, do some research. Understand it much better. Cut off all assumptions. Find the logics behind whatever that you have experienced. That will actually prove your worth much better than just speculating things and say that through imagination. So I just encourage everyone to just do lots of research on whatever you experience and make better
Judgment.
information. Judgment of it.
Yes.
Thank you,
Wow.
Sarafian.
That is the heart of Supernatural Confessions. Thank you so much, Sarafian.
Sarafian also has a book that he has written. You want to talk to us about that and where we can get the book?
Yeah.
Okay. No, yeah. This book actually led me to appreciate Singapore's heritage and history. Because I was looking for my Bugis roots, my identity.
Okay.
So along the way, what I actually discovered people like friends like Eugene on his particular subject, but I'm more on heritage and historical research. So how I did history and historical research.
That's why we should work together.
I look for my genealogy, my family tree.
You got a book to show us on the screen?
So this book actually tells you a lot about Singapore's history and
I give
What's
you
the title? Cannot see.
how I discover my roots and also the Singapore's history. So this book is not just about myself, but also about Singapore. And it also serves like a template for you to just read it, and it encourages you to find your history.
And where can they get this book?
Okay, you can get this book directly from me. You can PM through my Facebook, Tuah Bugis, or you can get it off the shelf at Kinokuniya or Wardah Books in Bussorah Street.
Nice.
So this book just tells you about my history. You can just cancel my name and put your name, and you can discover your own history.
Okay, Achok, for me, I want to get a signature copy from you.
Okay, sure.
I order directly. Okay, thank you, Sarafian. We'll catch up with you again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
See you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Sarafian actually has guests in his house,
Oh no.
Yeah, he's very on the ball. No, he graces with
The
his
guest of the guest of a guest.
yeah.
Yes, yes. I'm floating around everywhere lah. But
Oh, that's good.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait for a chance to makan together and then we tell all these stories and we
Yes, you
come
can.
up
You
with
can.
theories. Okay, come up with
Yeah,
theories.
just there are lots of reservations I have because I'm afraid I might hurt some people who listen to me.
Mm.
But there are lots of stories that I probably could give you some idea on what's next, to ask other people.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
Very
okay.
good,
let's be
very good.
honest. We're offline, right?
No, we're
Wait.
not offline. We'll
Yeah,
go.
we are
We're
online.
gonna go offline now. So,
Okay, now.
Sarafian, now you're offline. So,
Okay.
okay,
Thank you.
no worries. So Sarafian got book. Hey, John and I also got book. No, look.
Wow. Today is all about books. Yeah. Okay.
Wow. Okay, now we're gonna go for. We got 45 minutes left on the clock before we.
Can do this. We can.
We
do
can.
this.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Sarafian Salleh, also known as Tuah Bugis. So you can go check out his books. Contact him directly on YouTube. Not YouTube. Yeah, he has a YouTube
Facebook?
channel as well. Facebook.
Facebook.
Sarafian Salleh. Or just
Or you can find the book at Kinokuniya or Wadida
Wade
Books.
Books. Yeah.
Busora Street.
Correct,
Yay.
Okay.
Okay.
Now we're going to go to our next confession. John, will you be reading this for us?
I can. Okay, wait. Let me open. Which one are we going to next?
Okay. Ooh, this one.
Let's do the legend.
Legend. Legend of Tok Lassam and Kampong Siglap. Okay. Actually,
Nice.
since you're reading about this, right? If you guys go and research on Tok Lassam and Tuah Bugis, he did a very good research on this as well. So that's the Tuah Bugis that you just met. For now, John, are you ready to read the confessions for us?
Hang on there. Hang on. I'm just looking at the comments because they're asking me strange things like why is my room so dark? Cause got no light. Is it very dark?
Hey, we got
Can-
somebody
can
just
you
now. I need to thank also.
can see me?
There's My Media and Dice Punk Studios. Thank you for your blessings.
Okay. There. Okay, a little bit more light. Okay, I am ready.
Okay, ready? And
Yeah.
take it away, John.
The Legend of Tok Lassam and Kampong Siglap. Confession by Pak Din. I grew up and worked in the Kampong Siglap area. This place has changed so much since. Last time around this place, where we are standing now, a lot of trees and plantation. The kampong was just here by the beachfront at this exact spot. Today, the government reclaimed the land until the sea also disappeared. You have to go a few kilometers further out before you can see the sea. It was at this spot that legend has it that a man by the name of Tok Lassam landed. People said that he was a prince from Sumatra. He arrived in Singapore and set up a settlement here in Siglap even before the British arrived. Even though Tok Lassam, whose real name is Raja Sufyan, came from a royal bloodline, he chose to live in Singapore as an average Malay man. According to some people, they believe that Siglap got its name because of the eclipse that took place in 1821. But some claim that Tok Lassam gave the area the name Siglap because it was a dark and stormy day when he landed on the shores. But I think Siglap got its name even earlier than that. The locals in the 1700s and 1800s had referred to this place as Siglap, the dark place, because it was always preternaturally dark and haunted. Siglap's reputation did not deter Tok Lassam, and he and his men just quietly cleared the place and built houses. Over time, more and more people came to populate the area and formed the kampong known as Kampong Siglap. The villagers honored him, respected him as the village head. According to stories passed down through generations of people who had once lived here, the plantation outside Kampong Siglap was the haunting ground of a fearsome Pontianak. Villagers were terrorized by her presence. They would find their livestock mutilated, and plantation workers who did not make it out of the plantation before sundown would be found drained of blood the next morning. The villagers came to Tok Lassam for help. He knew what was needed to defeat the Pontianak, but that would mean having to reveal his true identity. Seeing no way around this matter, Tok Lassam went to retrieve his royal kris that he had wrapped in a yellow cloth and kept under the floorboards since his arrival. He went to the plantation to stay the night. No one knows for sure what truly happened that night. Some say there was a fierce battle and that Tok Lassam defeated the Pontianak using his kris. Some say he went there to negotiate kindly and got the Pontianak to turn over a new leaf. Either way, Tok Lassam came back victorious, and he stuck his kris into the middle of the kampong and declared that no foul beings will be able to enter the kampong for as long as the kris was in place. Till today, the kris is still buried in the ground right here. I know where it is. I have seen it on one of those nights. It is said that whenever something dirty is around the area, the kris will rise from the ground. Many people have come to look for it, but can never find it. Today, Tok Lassam and his wife are buried in Siglap, near the field, near Jalan Sempadan. Wow. Okay, I'm going to go and hunt for a kris now.
I was there to look for it too.
Oh no! How do you know where to look? Was there a treasure? Was there a treasure map?
No, he pointed to me where it was.
Ah,
But then he also said cannot. People also go there and cannot find. So
yeah lah. So you're not meant to see it
not
lah.
meant to see it. But also, if I take it out, then it means Siglap is not going to be in trouble. No? So if I'm not wrong, Siglap, that spot is the most safest spot in Singapore.
Actually, there is a way to find out where it is. You just wait till one of those dirty things is around, then you just rise up, then you go, there. Right? You just wait there until the Pontianak comes along, then it'll come out. You know?
So if I ever want to know whether I got anything following me or whether I kotor or keras, I just
you
go there.
past there. You go past there, look for the yellow kris. Wow. I mean, this is a wonderful legend. And I've never heard this. I've never heard this before. Have you heard this? I mean,
or prior to
I've
me
lived
talking to the guy, no.
Yeah. I mean, I've lived in the east, not far from Siglap, Marine Parade and all that, but never heard of these, you know. I wish we had captured more of these stories.
John,
but
after so many years doing FNL with you, I still can surprise you with great content.
That is because the MSA is now doing the digging, okay, right?
It was very lucky because
all of our law.
when I went there to visit Tok Lassam, I met him and had a very in-depth conversation. There was a lot more to the content that he talks about other things as well, other kramats around the area. But because this is about Tok Lassam, I wanted to just focus on this.
So you visited the keramat of Tok Lassam?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
at Jalan Sempadan.
Yeah. So just a bit of information about this particular confession, Pak Din. So he wants to remain anonymous because he says the Malay community can get very political. Each family has a different version of the story that they believe to be true, and that as nature of legends being what they are, they tend to be filled with tales of mystics and magic. Yeah. This doesn't sit well with the religious community at large. So to avoid controversy, he asked for his identity be kept a secret. I met him at a Tok Lassam Keramat.
Wow. So where is this Tok Lassam Keramat for those who want to visit? And is it accessible or is it something that...
It's open. It's in the field near Jalan Sempadan. In fact, there's a bus stop there. You stop, you walk less than 100 meters, you reach already. It's right behind the backyard of one of the private houses. And if you live around that private estate, you would take a shortcut and you'll pass by the Keramat every day. And as far as Keramat goes, Singapore have a few Keramats that's really open to public. Like the one at near in Chinatown there. There's also a Malay Keramat that people walk past every day. So all we ask is be respectful. Like you go there, you want to go inside Keramat, you take off your shoe, you don't spit. And for what Pak didn't say, he and the Malay community hates it when the Chinese come down, disrespect the Keramat, ask for 4D.
Okay.
So say don't do that.
No, please, please don't cross that line.
And also the jaw stick, he said that if you want to venerate these saints with a proper jaw sticks, it's not the one that you use for the Chinese prayer. That one called ghost. That one's for ghosts. There's a saddlewood one, or I think it's I think saddlewood lah, if I'm not wrong. It's incense
rather than joss sticks lah.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it sounds it would be very nice if SC can provide like these little handy kits, it's like this is the packet for calling ghosts, this is the packet for venerating keramat, this is the packet,
Yeah.
ready-made packets, carry one with you.
What's interesting about this particular confession for me is that when we talk about the origin of names, Singapore is famous for origins of names. Orchard Road was because it was a nutmeg plantation. Changi was because of a Changi tree. 10 pennies because of 10 dicks. 10 pennies tree. So for Siglap, if you do your NLB research or Singapore's roots research, they say that they believe it was because of the 1821 eclipse. And that was how Siglap, the dark one, got its name. But people that I spoke to says, no, Siglap was called Siglap way before 1821. And if Tok Lassam has arrived before that, and what this Park Din is saying that the reason Siglap is called Siglap was not because of the eclipse, but rather the villagers around the area knows this spot to be a keras place.
Yes.
So when Tok Lassam came, he needed a place to set up his settlement. He found the only spot that no one is taking. It's a haunted spot. But he didn't care. He built anyway. The Pontianak came to attack. Then he... I have to reveal my identity.
I have to break cover now.
Yes.
So he was under the witness protection program. But he had no choice. So he had to break cover in order to get rid of it. I mean, it happens all the time. We see it in all the Hollywood films. So... I mean, I mean, okay lah, fair enough. I think the idea that this place is, famous for being haunted is probably not an excuse that, not a reason that the Heritage Board can shamelessly put online. So this is stuff that you will only find at the Ministry of Supernatural Affairs website. Okay, but I mean, it is interesting that we're talking about all these sort of early kampong law, right? Because it introduces the idea that there was a whole lifestyle, a whole culture of kampongs, not the kampongs that we think of today, which is just sort of the precursor to HDB, kind of thing, right? But rather, I mean, there were kampongs for hundreds of years, right? Going back, goodness knows how long, and developing and changing and filling our island, right? The fact that he couldn't find any other place except this haunted place means we were pretty chock full of kampongs, right?
1900s really, the kampong was moving up to Yishun and Sembawang and everywhere already because the central part were all taken up.
Correct. So we were packed. I mean, I remember as I was researching for even my Fort Canning show, there were kampongs, different kampongs just like across the street from each other. It was that busy, right? So we have been sort of misled by the idea of a very primitive, half-deserted island waiting for the British to come here and do something with this place. But I'm sure that by the time the British came, what they found was a pretty active and full and diverse community, and by that time the law would have been deeply embedded. These stories about Pontianak and all these are hundreds of years old. And
in fact, I think in the Malay Annals and the report that William Farquhar gave to Raffles, in his report, I think which is still in the museum, it states that they have seen things in the forest and these are supernatural beings. So we have all this in history, but yet sometime we are now in 2024 and we say, oh, all this didn't exist. Yeah.
I think it's challenging. It's challenging to try to sort of absorb this into official history, right? It's really hard to explain, about Pontianak's fighting and sending out an army of penanggal, but I think Tok Lassam deserves his place, right? In our history, we've got few enough as it is, right? We've got Bukit Merah, the Bukit Merah legend. We've got Putri Gedong Ledang. We've got Badang. Now let's add Tok Lassam to that. He was a pioneer in Singapore. He was brave enough to move into a haunted place. So he would embody the spirit of like all the people who wanted to live in like Bishan and Bukit Batok. It's like graveyard, but still you need to live somewhere, right? So shut up and move.
Show you a photo of me there.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So that is him. I'm facing his wife. The two behind me is Tok Lassam.
Oh, it's huge.
Not really. It's a size of smaller than a HDB bedroom.
That's pretty big for
A kramat?
yeah.
No lah.
Yeah,
As far as
I've
kramat
seen
goes.
way smaller kramats.
Hmm.
Wow, and is it well maintained?
Very, very well maintained.
Nice. Mm.
Okay.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. So now,
Please go and visit. Please go and visit and bring the right offerings, please.
not sure.
Yeah.
Check with me.
Yes, and say hi to Tok Lassam. Okay. Wow. There was a donation just now. Wait,
it?
I missed it.
Muhammad
Let's see.
Firdaus.
Yes, thank you for Daos. Ooh, it's a turtle with a cap. All right. Thank you for your offering. Thank you.
Yeah, we got what before we go to our next confession, let's have a little message. If you have a story to tell us, please get in touch with me. Supernatural Confessions was created as a safe space for people to share their paranormal encounters. If you or someone you know has a strange encounter to share, we want to hear about it. You can type it to us, send us a voice memo, or even meet me for a face-to-face interview. Visit supernaturalconfessions.com for more info.
But every time I hear you laugh, I get into trouble.
Coming up on the 16th of March, Saturday at 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. online session hosted by Kwan Yu, that is our confessor and also our Patreon. He's running a workshop, Awaken Your Mind and Energy. Workshop is kind of free. Why we say kinda is we're charging a 5% gratuity fee, which will go towards community building fund as well as a cause of Kwan Yu's choice. So we're not taking a cent from this. We're doing this for the community. And if you like to support this initiative, or you think that, hey, you just want to awaken your mind and energy, or you feel that, there's something about you that's vibing and you cannot quite explain, well, time to awaken it. All right. Date is 16 March 2024, Saturday, 9 a.m. And I'll be putting up the link in a short while. But for now, our final confession for tonight.
Nice.
Kidnapped in Kampong Nee Soon. Confession by Dawson. My story is quite short, so you see if it's good enough for you. This story was told to me by my father, who grew up in Nee Soon Kampong area during the 50s. He arrived as his grandfather arrived as a migrant worker from China and worked on the plantation. The grandfather met his grandmother, his wife, through a matchmaker. She was a washerwoman from a neighboring village. Together they gave birth to my dad, who was the oldest of 3 children. Grandpa had insisted that some areas in Kampong were simply out of bounds. Ho Pek San Temple was an area to stay away after dark. Apparently, Grandpa and his friends had on many occasions sneaked in, only to find effigies and puppets coming to life. And wayang props moving on their own. One of his friends apparently offended the spirit and needed to seek divine intervention. After that incident, all the children in that group got a good beating from their parents. Another no-go zone was the well with a natural underground spring. According to stories, a ghost would push children into the well to drown them. There were frequent sightings of Pontianak on Thursday nights near where they live. Grandpa's advice to my dad was just to ignore them. When you smell any frangipani scent or hear any babies crying, just ignore. They are harmless. They just want to scare you. If you get scared easily, that is when you run and hurt yourself. I know more people who broke their necks from running than die from actual Pontianak attacks. My dad said he doesn't recall Grandpa ever being spooked out, but there was one time my dad had gotten lost in the plantation, and that was the first time he saw Grandfather truly afraid. The story gets talked about at family gatherings every now and then. So as it goes, my dad was out playing with his friends at the plantation, and they decided to climb a coconut tree. They played scissors, paper, stone to determine who would be the one to offer his bag for the winner to step on and to climb the tree. Dad won, so he got to climb. He shimmied up the tree, gripped the trunks with his legs, and tried to twist the coconut free. His friends looked up at him. Eye contact was made throughout, But according to that one friend, my dad just disappeared in front of their eyes. It was only in the late afternoon, mind you, about 4 5 p.m. So there was nowhere to hide in plain sight. And it wasn't as if the trees were close enough to leap across. But even if that was the case, it was not impossible to spot. So all the other friends left, but this one friend stayed behind to call out for my dad until dusk was about to descend. And then he too ran all the way back home. After he got home, he just kept quiet. His parents felt something wasn't right with him, and he got interrogated. That's when he told them what happened. By this time, it was already around 8 p.m. The family came to my dad's house to check, and true enough, my grandpa confirmed that my dad wasn't home and he had been out looking. After hearing my dad's friend's confession, they went to the temple to ask for help. The head priest wasn't around at that time, but a young temple helper who was an understudy of the priest was present and offered his assistance. I assume some ritual must have been performed. I don't have the details for you, but whatever they were doing, fortunately attracted the attention of a travelling ustaz who was just passing by. He heard the loud commotion and he approached the group. He had, in his prayer that evening, gotten a message from his God to keep his eyes and ears peeled for a loud procession because those people would need his help. The temple helper come disciple, together with the ustaz, headed out to the plantation where they prayed over the place. There were some things that my grandfather had to break, some eggs or whatnot, and followed the trail of smoke. The smoke would lead my grandpa to my father's spot. The smoke led him to a large boulder. When he arrived, he had just one last egg left. He broke it against the rock and heard a shrill cry. What was once a rock morphed into an old woman. She was ugly. As she dashed off into the darkness where she had been standing before, my dad appeared. When he questioned my dad about what had happened to him, he couldn't remember much except that when he had looked down to find his friend, he was not there. They were not there. He leapt off the tree and walked around the plantation trying to find his way out when he met a nice Malay lady who offered him food and drinks. Next thing he knew, he was standing in front of my grandfather. It was already nightfall. This story tends to evolve over the years as I keep retelling it, but I kept the embellishments out of the core narrative so you and your audience can get the story as it is. The travelling ustaz left and no one saw him ever again.
Jinn, or is it dimensional travel? Or what happened? What happened when he climbed up the tree? What do you think?
I don't think it's a dimension door.
Okay.
And if you say it's a jinn, what kind of jinn? This maybe if it's a tree ghost, but then the lady appeared as a rock.
Correct. So the follow-up is quite misleading, right? I mean, we know that there's one hantu that has a reputation of making people suddenly disappear inside a wooded area, right? Which is the bunyan, right? You know, that they could easily make your friend suddenly, where's my, right? And then you part ways, right?
Correct.
And then you both get lost or something like that, right? But we also know that there are, for example, hantu tete who would happily kidnap a child. But first time I've heard of the hantu tete making them sort of turn visible that way, lah. Right, so it seems to be a hybrid of approaches, right? The modus operandi like quite mixed.
Also, because maybe we only hear all these hantu from one perspective, and we only feel that they are one-dimensional, or a hantu tete will perform this way. They don't have any other powers.
True.
You know, so now when it's told this way, it tends to give us a bit wider features to look at. That maybe the hantu tete can also. Okay. So when I heard this story, my first thought is hantu tete.
Because the old woman was naked.
Yeah. But the narrator never tell me about the tete.
Yeah, so she was a sort of trainee hantu tete, so she was not so prominent in the important areas. You know, so she was like intern. She hadn't earned her tete yet. I'm not sure. I don't know whether
you say this, tonight hantu tete can't find you.
Okay, not complaining. No, but okay. I mean, I'm wondering, right? I mean, okay, you're saying that it's not possible for it to have been hantu tetek if it could have been described as just an ordinary old woman
No. I
who
mean,
is ugly, right?
correct.
The key feature is not mentioned.
Yeah,
So,
like could it
so
be
it's-
a nenek kabayan, hantu tete, a generic old, a
Mm,
Pontianak variant, right?
why a Pontianak? What would what clues are there that it might be a Pontianak? Well, first of all, they're seldom naked.
Malay Kampong.
Um,
I think I've been.
it's like the butler did it, right? So like, it's got first suspect Pontianak.
Pontianak.
But then again, it's like it's a coconut tree, so that's got nothing to do with the Pontianak, right?
Mm.
I do think it's to do with the tree because he was in the act of plucking a fruit,
Mhm.
right? And maybe I don't know whether there are certain coconut trees that are special, whether or not that tree did not feel like having its fruit plucked, right? And therefore, did something else. But that's something we have very little law about, right?
Oh, John, maybe there's two hantus at play. When he climbed the tree and he plucked the coconut, that was the tree spirit blocking his eye, blocking his friend. Maybe a Bunyan territory, right?
Okay.
Bunyan territory in plantation. He came down, he got lost, he walked around, and because
And then he met the ghost.
and then he met the ghost. That's a separate
Mm.
ghost.
Quite possible. Very good. That's a very, very John Lim theory coming from Eugene Tay.
Yeah, see, I've been listening to you, there's more than one suspect.
Very good. Very good. No, and that's entirely possible, right? That's entirely possible. So many hantu intersecting, right?
Yeah.
It could be. It could be that the Bunyan were doing their usual thing, just playing tricks, right? And then after he vanished from his friend's sight, that's about as far as the Bunyan can be bothered to go, lah, right?
Mm.
And then after that, he got lost and some kind hantu picked him up.
So Camellia 701 says maybe orang Bunyan. Tiao Chan says, I believe the Bunyan and the Tete work together. In cahoots.
Conspiracy, yeah. Okay, this is but Grace has the best one. It's a new species of hantu called hantu tak tete.
Suka sian.
Ooh.
Or maybe because the Tete is behind, remember? Some people believe that hantu Tete has the breast at the back.
No, that's Pontianak.
Oh, is it? Oh,
That's
sorry.
Pontianak. Yes, that's Pontianak. That's obscure. That's high level Pontianak law. But she would never show you by not wearing clothes, lah. But this is the first time I'm hearing of a rock transforming into, or a hantu hiding as a rock. I've heard of the hantu batu, which is a rock spirit, but that's not
Then,
usually.
no lah. Then again, it could be a glamour. Like it appears as a rock, but to the eye of the mortals moving around. So he saw a rock,
Right.
but actually she was there all along. So did she really convert into a rock? Maybe not. It's just that the smoke guided the grandfather there, and the egg, the blessed egg, was meant to dispel the magic.
So the woman that the rock turned into a woman, and the woman was screaming. Is it? There was a shrill cry. Was it the woman who cried out?
The woman cried out. Then she ran away.
And she ran away.
Yeah, and
Okay.
where she was
So she
standing,
was guilty, lah. She was sort of like, oh no, you've caught me. Okay, because I'm just wondering also whether or not. I mean, another sort of local, regional rock legend, of course, is the Datuk lah, right? That the rock could have been a good spirit that was finding the boy. But okay lah, if he's gonna run away and shrieking, then no problem.
And she's ugly some more.
Yeah, so
Ugly people just don't get a lot of good credit these days.
stereotypes, all these horrible supernatural stereotypes. But yeah, I mean, okay, it's complicated. I mean, okay, it's entirely possible that there are hantu that we've never come across, right? We are discovering new species of animals every day. There's absolutely no reason why we should assume that we know all the hantu.
And like Sarafian said, when he did all his digging and everything underground, he met things that are creatures with 6 legs and everything. So
Wow,
these are just not reported.
So this is now crypto hantu, is it? Crypto hantu, like hantu beyond the known species.
Yeah.
Right? Is there some teteless bunyan behavior type of Pontianak
I
that
mean,
we do not understand?
last season, final episode was a very good example of things that
true.
are unreported. Because when we talk about mainstream consciousness, we know the white gown, long black hair. But
Yes.
there could be one guy out of 1,000 of them who has seen a really weird creature. He may not even speak about it. If he speak
Yeah.
about it, people don't believe him, or he may not
Correct.
even know supernatural confessions to give us this data. So it just gets
Yeah.
lost in the wind.
So we could be coming across a brand new species of hantu here. Wow.
Hantu bogel, the naked ghost.
Do we get to name it? Do we get to name it?
Yeah, we
Since we
name
are
it.
MSA,
Yeah,
Hantu Bogel.
hantu bogel.
Hantu Batu Bogel.
Yeah, last season we got the hantu leher panjang.
Yes. So this is the naked rock hantu, okay?
Mm.
I mean, wow. It is, I think, I love the humanity in the story. I love the idea that there's this grandfather who is like very stoic and very skeptical, and then suddenly like, the only time in his life that he was truly frightened, and he lost his son to a hantu batu bogel, right? HBB. Okay, let's add that into the, the lexicon. But I mean, it's pretty good advice that he was giving, I would say, right? Going back a little bit, right, where he said, if you smell anything, just don't react. Don't react, because if you give in to the fear, then you are increasing the danger for yourself, right? Whether you believe or not, right? You are just causing trouble for yourself. And on top of that, if they are really there, then you're just inviting them to mess with you even more, right? Because you're showing fear.
I like the
Right.
line, more people die from breaking their necks running away than the ghost killing them.
Correct, right? I mean, the fear is the problem, right? And I think one of the reason why I think we were better at sort of coping with the hantu around us. I mean, we all know that there were, like you all said earlier, right? The per capita thing, right? So many more hantu than people, right?
Yeah.
The only way to cope with it is not to be affected,
Mm.
right? So a little bit more knowledge, a little bit more wisdom, a few handy tips, a few life hacks in your pocket, and then just tahan lah. Just try to tahan lah. If you act like you live in a horror movie, then you will be the first victim lah. Right.
Yeah.
So it's about not letting the hantu become a major factor, right? Treat them as an everyday part of your life.
The
right?
other thing about the human part that you mentioned, and I felt this was awe moment for me, was the Chinese was there to do their work, and then the Malay say, I had a vision, a message. Look out, Then there was like, wow, cross-cultural kampongs, Malay, Chinese combined together. This should be part of a Singapore tapestry fabric. Yeah, so I found that to be interesting, and I've not heard of any ritual that use eggs specifically as part of the ghost finding tool. I know the Malay has to break the egg to find the needle inside to cleanse someone.
Yeah, as a cleansing thing, right? But was it finding the hantu or was it finding the boy?
Oh.
I feel it was finding the boy. In the same way that you can program your egg to go and heat-seeking missile and go and seek someone, right? Your tuju, right? If you can let it program your son's DNA into the egg, then the egg will seek him out.
Okay. Because
I thought it was that. I thought it was that the egg was seeking the child.
Okay, I don't know. You might be right, because when I was misled to think that the egg hurt the batu bogel.
Because she screamed lah.
Yeah, so I was misled in thinking that the egg was like a weapon, like they had to
force her to show her true form.
Yeah. Because remember, they already knew there was a supernatural work at play when the boy confessed what happened. So they went on the offense already. So it could already be that they were priming themselves to deal with an entity.
Okay, it makes sense. What you're saying makes sense because there was a smoke that was leading him to the spot. So the smoke was the seeking, right? And then when he found the boulder, because the smoke pointed out the boulder, then he had to use the egg. Otherwise, he would just be sitting there staring at the boulder, right? So he needed to force the boulder to reveal its form, right? In a very Chinese horror movie way, right? And then, I mean, I love the material in this. I think there's probably a very nice mini movie in this as well, but it's just so mysterious. I mean, it's really cool that we're still discovering among the old kampong stories new kampong stories, right? It trope wise, it has a lot of things that we like about kampong stories, but it's a brand new hantu, and it's really quite exciting. Wow, it's like we are digging in the Marianas Trench,
You,
like that,
you know
just
when you talk about
finding.
new hantu, but when you speak to the old folks, right, you realize there's so many hantus that it's just not
Yes.
in today's mainstream
Yeah.
memories anymore.
So like the last few days, right? Digression. Last few days, I've been talking to like every person I see, right, and asking them whether they've ever heard of the hantu pemburu. Have you
Oh
heard of the hantu
no,
pemburu?
no, no.
So apparently, long, long time ago, like God knows how long,
Mm,
right? There was a hantu pemburu who they would vaguely translate as the spectral huntsman.
mm,
Okay, and it is a giant-sized hunter figure that will walk through the forest. He's accompanied by wild dogs, right? And for some reason, his face is pointed looking up at the sky and he cannot look down.
huh.
He cannot look down, right? And apparently you have to hide from him. And if you hide and the dogs won't find you, fine. If not, you will have to join. If the dogs find you, you have to join his spectral hunting party forever.
Whoa.
So it's very much like the old tales of the pirate ships, right? And then you have to
Mm,
sail forever, right? With
mm,
Davy Jones or with right? But it also is very akin to like those Nordic tales of like these huge forest gods that walk through the forest. So I'm wondering, like, at which point did we share these very large scale forest spirits, with Europe, and with the northern climes, right?
mm,
And who thought of it first, right? And it's so fascinating, the idea of a giant hunter with his phantom dogs. You know, this is a very old spirit.
yeah.
So again, we were talking about hundreds of years old, right? Hundreds, So this is, I won't say ancient Malay, but extremely early Malay belief.
Yes.
So if anyone out there who has heard of Hantu Pemburu or knows anything about it or has seen one, please let us know. Please let us know. Definitely keen to find out more.
Mm.
There's very little written about it because I guess all this mantang, nobody talks about it.
Oh.
No, everyone talks about it. Nobody writes it down. Right.
Okay, there's a comment that came in, but let me read out Firdaus' comment first. He plops in $5 to give us this message. So
Yay.
thank you very much, Firdaus. Beauty World and Bukit Timah Plaza delivery riders during the 0609 era seen a lot of hantu around Bukit Timah Clementi Coronation Turf Club. Memories, he says.
What's memories? Oh, Bukit
He-
Chandu. Is it memories at Bukit Chandu? Is that what you're referring to?
maybe he says he sees memories lah.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So there's another one from Hansale Tama.
Mm.
Hensley
Hensley Tama.
the
Hensley Tama.
hantu Peremburu is in the culture of Sarawakia. Makes sense.
Oh.
Makes sense.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Tell us more if you can, Hensley Tama. Wow. Okay. Wow. I want to know more about Sarawak hantu and like.
Go back there again. That time we had our show there, Supernatural Confessions, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We did our
I mean,
walk.
Paris Lim is talking about, it sounds like the Celtic law of the huntsman, right, with the pack of dogs. Yes, exactly right. It is the legend of the wild hunt, right? So it's a very Slavic kind of thing. It's very Northern European. So to hear that it has a parallel here is fascinating, and one friend and I were speculating that it might date as far back as the very beginning of when everyone was basically a hunter gatherer, right? And so the huntsman would be your sort of patron deity, right? The most important, because that is your livelihood, and he would embody everything, like, all the ethics of hunting or something, are you hunting in your right territory? Are you poaching? Are you whatever, So I wonder whether that huntsman is part of a reflection of what we began doing as a civilization, So it pops up everywhere because everyone went through that phase. Right, everyone discovered hunting, created hunting communities, and then created hunting gods.
Hey, Samuel Yen say the tall hunter thing. My friend just mentioned to me today over dinner. He saw it in Tekong.
Whoa! Wow. Okay, that's the hantu sergeant. That one different.
And Slavic is Eastern Europe, not Northern.
Yes, true. Very true. Thank you. When in London. Thank you. From there you can see. So, yes, that's right. That's true. Yeah, I mean, it is so fascinating though. Okay. Tekong. Wow. Okay.
Why? Why? He's like, oh yeah, you're not in a big forest, you're in Tekong. Like, kasihan you, is it? You look down at him.
It'll be a very small circle for him to walk.
Yeah,
Like go round, go round, go round.
yeah.
Oh dear. Okay. Wow. Samuel, please tell us a little bit more about this person. We want to get in touch and find out. Yeah. Why did he just mention it to you today? That's random.
Yeah. Anyway, we are almost out of time. We're now at 4:43.
Nice.
2 more minutes before we say goodbye. Next week, 15th of March, we will be here again, John and I. And it will also be Beware the Ides of March. So next week's stories will all be about premonitions and bad omens. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed today's special, and all our Muslim friends. Ramadan is coming in 2 days' time. To all the ladies in the house, happy International Women's Day.
Yay!
You know when's the International Men's Day? Nobody gives a shit. Just so you all know, it's 19 November, okay? We will not have any-
really?
Yeah.
Really?
But no one cares.
Wow.
This year's theme for women is invest in women, accelerate assets, or something like that.
Okay.
What assets are we accelerating and what are we investing? Hantu batu tete needs some of that too. Anywho. Well, any last words before we say goodbye, John? We got 1 minute left on the clock.
Oh no, now got time limit, man. This is so challenging.
No lah, because we got our featured confession, ma.
Okay. No lah, I think I will quote from our last confession, right? You know, there are more people that break their necks from fear than people who actually get killed by hantu. So treat hantu with respect and with curiosity, not with fear.
That's very good, very good. Okay. I suppose I will leave you with, may you find the serenity to accept the things that cannot be changed and the courage to change the things that we can and the wisdom to know the difference. I am your Prince of Paranormal, the Sultan of Supernatural, saying good night. We'll see you next week. Featured confession tonight is a friend of ours, Vina, who's also a member and a community member of Supernatural Confessions, and she's the one who actually, John, she gave you the calendar.
Thank you. Yes, I remember. I have it in my living room.
Yeah. So today is her confession.
Nice.
She's born with a third eye, and she says the way to deal with it is to just treat it as part of your life. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night. See you next week.
What did you find? You're listening to Supernatural Confessions.